Alright guys, so we got another video about my 2004 Lincoln LS V8. Basically in this video I'm just going to discuss some of the common engine parts that are known to fail, and mainly the ones I've had issues with and have replaced in the past couple of years since I've owned this car. The main thing about this car, and you should already know this if you're even researching this type of car, is basically the complete cooling system. So the first thing you're going to want to definitely check out if you have any kind of overheating issues is the overflow tank right there, the right. It's also called the degas bottle, and as you can tell right next to it, I'm going to point out to is this kind of little valve right here. That is the bleed valve. Very important. If you ever add any coolant to the system, or you even open the cap and any air gets in, make sure to open this basically with a regular flathead screwdriver to the left and have some coolant drip out of it, at least maybe 10 to 15 drops to prime the system of air. Very important. A lot of people are not aware of this cool thing right here, but if you do have overheating problems, this will solve a lot of your issues, obviously with a hot engine and with the heater on all the way. Another issue these cars have, and I have had, is this water inlet housing. So our thermostat is right here under this cap. I'm not going to open it right now because, you know, obviously I'll have to bleed the system again. But this whole plastic element is basically like this. It's kind of a triangle shape. It will eventually develop internal cracks and will precipitate or leak coolant. The particular one I have on this car right now is a doorman unit from Amazon. It was about 130 bucks. And I haven't had issues with it in the past 3 years at this time. Obviously it goes without saying, any plastic element in this cooling system, mainly this T connection right here, let me get it out of the sun a little bit. So right over here, it will leak from where it's being molded right there. You can see a little mold mark. Mine used to leak here. This is, I think, a $60 part from the Ford dealer. So just get the original Ford part and you'll be good to go. Another main issue with these cars are coils. Now, these are the covers right here, the valve covers. When you take them out, you will have 4 coils on this side and 4 coils on the other side of the motor. A common occurrence is experiencing oil in the plug wells. So if you have that, make sure you get better oil seals, or you probably need to get the whole thing rebuilt there. I've never had this particular issue in this car. There is no oil and they're very clean. Make sure that it's sealed well around here, also because water could easily drip in through the back right there. What else could we point out about internal engine type of issues on this car? It's really about it. That's what it comes down to. It's mostly the cooling system elements. Now there are a couple other issues that this particular car, and I would say is very common for the Lincoln LS, and it's the headlights. Now this car, you could tell that they're pretty dirty looking and pitted. Now I've actually polished them already, so this is close to as good as it will get without replacement. But these are the really nice HID models, so I will not be replacing them. They look really good at night actually. Another issue is a seizing brake caliper. So if you walk around the car, if you're trying to buy one, always look at the brake calipers and the actual rotors. You could tell that this one is okay, but the top is a little bit kind of uneven. Now these rotors are not old, I did replace them, and these calipers are also from a salvaged vehicle. They work fairly well, but the ones I had on here before were pretty bad, and the car would kind of vibrate and shimmy when you would be braking. So just be aware of that. In terms of exhaust related issues, if you smell any kind of foul odor, let's say kind of a sulfuric scent, maybe kind of rotten eggs coming from the exhaust, that is pretty much a good sign that your catalytic converter is destroyed, and you will be able, you will need to definitely replace it to pass emissions of any kind. This car doesn't have any issues, and the exhaust seems original, so nothing to worry about there. Also, be aware if your car has a sunroof, and most of these models do have a sunroof, that the sunroof generally does leak through the A-pillar. There's supposed to be kind of a drainage hose running down this A-pillar, and over time the rubber parts could become kind of solid and disconnect themselves, and you will wind up with a water leaking issue all over the floor on your vehicle. Very important that you do fix this right away, because generally it will go behind the dash and through all the basic wiring of the vehicle. So not good. You don't want any of that. What else could we say about this car? Those are basically some of the things to look for that I noticed are problematic on these vehicles. Of course, this is a pretty high performance luxury vehicle. This particular 3.9 V8 engine does make 280 horsepower, so it's a good amount of power from, you know, a small block V8. And don't expect anything super fast. These are rated at, I think, 6.7 seconds. Now, to be honest with you, while using the select shift mode, it feels faster than that. I mean, the torque converter hooks up well. I gotta say, it feels like a low 6-second car to me, even in the automatic and the 3,900 pound curb weight of this vehicle. But it is not a large car. Basically, what else is great is you do have a nice aluminum body. That does contribute a lot to the weight savings of this vehicle, of course. But it goes without saying that since the motor in here is basically from a Jaguar XJ series, which are the Jaguar 4.0 engines, you do also have the common problems that those vehicles have, which I've discussed before, you know, electrical cooling issues and stuff like that. Something else, by the way, that I've noticed in my years of ownership of this vehicle, make sure that your battery in the trunk is fresh. They do have a relatively high power drain, especially mine, I guess, with all the electronic accessories, the nav system, whatever it has, some kind of security system, the remote start. I'm not sure of the power drain on those, but there is a drain, I'm sure. And a lot of times you will have weird kind of electronic phantom codes. This car in particular, I've noticed when you have slightly a low battery but the car still starts, you will have the service park brake soon. The electronic brake does work, but I don't really fiddle with it. But I did notice that you do have that kind of code, and when you do replace the battery, it just seems to go away. Generally, my battery lasts, you know, at most 3 years in this vehicle, which is not bad. It's kind of a pretty expensive battery with a side vent. That's really the situation there. But there it is, guys. That's just a look and kind of a couple of views and clips of this car. I gotta say, I love this car. This is one of those cars that if you buy, you do wind up falling in love with it. And of course, it does come with its issues, but the ride, I gotta tell you guys, the ride is just fantastic. But there it is. Thanks so much for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Any particular questions on this car, please let me know in the comments down below. I'll be more than happy to answer them if I can. Thanks.